Good afternoon, everyone. Let's go ahead and get started. I want to thank you all for joining us today. We hope you find this presentation both meaningful and relevant, and that you'll take away some new knowledge that you can apply to your organization. Now, this is the second in a 5-part webinar series hosted by Innovus and Oracle. The series is scheduled to occur every Friday in May, with the final part scheduled for Friday, June 5th. We will be discussing topics that encompass the evolution of planning and budgeting, focusing on pain points organizations and particularly planners face when managing their periodic planning cycle. Today's topic revolves around managing planning hierarchies. Today's presentation will be broken down into 5 parts. There will be a brief intro of Innovus and our speakers. We will transition into talking about planning and budgeting challenges. We'll then provide a real-life scenario. RJ will then walk you through a live demonstration. And finally, we'll have some time for Q&A. Please make sure to submit your questions via the chat window throughout the presentation. We may address some questions throughout the webinar, and others we will make sure to address at the end. Innovus is a full-service provider of consulting services leveraging the Oracle EPM product stack. We have been an Oracle partner since 2012 and are recognized as a cloud excellence implementer using the Oracle EPM cloud products. All of our resources, which are 100% onshore, work closely with both users and Oracle product development to ensure our clients leverage the full feature set of the Oracle EPM cloud to get the highest return on their investment. We work collaboratively with our clients and Oracle to implement and deploy the solution. We assist our clients with championing the solution to ensure users embrace it. We offer continuing support of the solution to ensure its ongoing success across the organization. And finally, we provide guidance with extending the solution to further realize business benefits, increased return on investment, and reduction in total cost of ownership throughout the organization. Ultimately, we are striving to be that trusted advisor to our clients to help realize their vision of performance management and business analytics. We not only implement the Oracle EPM cloud, but also use it to support our own planning and reporting process at Innovus. Most recently, Innovus was recognized as a 2020 Top 10 CPM solution provider by CFO Tech Outlook magazine, which is a true testament to our success in the EPM space. We as Innovus work exclusively with Oracle products. We have our own enterprise EPM environment, which we recently upgraded from EPVCS, and we are fully capable of delivering demonstrations for all of the business processes in the Oracle EPM cloud stack, which includes planning, consolidation, account reconciliation, tax reporting, narrative reporting, profitability, and enterprise data management. I would now like to give RJ Linehan the opportunity to introduce himself. RJ?
Thanks, Gary. Hi, my name is RJ Linehan. I'm the managing partner of Innovus Partners. I've been working in the EPM BI space going on 20 years, started in the late 90s, working on the customer side in an FP&A department at an insurance company in New York. Switched over to the consulting side in the 2000s and expanded my experience with the EPM stack. Started Innovus in 2012 and have worked to make Innovus the premier EPM implementer. So I'm looking forward to showing you a little bit more about planning and budgeting today. And Gary, thanks a lot.
Thanks, RJ. Once again, I'm Gary Soreo, Vice President in charge of project delivery at Innovus. I've been working in consulting for the EPM BI space for the better part of the last decade. I started on the client side, and like RJ, I moved on to consulting with EPM. I joined Innovus back in 2012, and I've been working closely with RJ and our team to become a successful EPM implementer and a trusted advisor to our clients. Just to reiterate, this is the second part in a 5-part series. Our remaining webinars will be on May 22nd, May 29th, and June 5th. All remaining sessions will be 30 minutes, including today. Recordings of our webinars will be posted on the Monday following the webinar on the Innovus website, and all registrants will receive the link through email. With that, I would like to hand it off to RJ. So RJ, please take it away.
Thank you, Gary. We are going to kick things off today by sharing with you some of the challenges organizations face when managing their financial plan, particularly as it applies to when planners are exclusively using Excel. A common scenario that we see with organizations as they grow and the approach taken to manage the financial plan is that often it does not have the capacity to keep up with that growth. For instance, as an organization starts out, Excel is an easy tool to manage its financial plan. There are less people involved. There are not many components to the plan. The process is easy to manage. But as an organization expands, there's a rise in the complexity of its business planning processes. The number of people involved in that process or these processes increases significantly. Using Excel exclusively as a planning tool is no longer a viable option to efficiently manage the financial plan. And this situation drives organizations to pursue methods that often provide an adoption of a solution for managing the financial plan in order to keep pace with the evolution and growth of the organization. And at this point, management and planners are looking to define requirements for this solution. And some of those key requirements are efficiency. The solution needs to cut down the time to create and publish the plan. It must provide for a single point of maintenance that can be easily managed by more than one user. Accuracy. The solution must be accurate. It needs to report the right results at the right time. And those results should be based on standard calculations that are reliable and provide consistent outcomes. Auditability. The solution needs capacity to track changes to the plan so there is an understanding of who did what when. It must provide accountability and add overall validity to the plan. And finally, scalability. The solution should support consistent performance over time to ensure the timeliness of the planning process and easily scale to support a growth in usage due to the increase in users. And more often than not, these requirements can't be met. And why is that? Often the reason is that organizations cannot typically use just an Excel-based solution alone to adopt a method that supports order and control around a dynamic process such as the financial plan. And this approach doesn't have the integrated support and often complex process like planning and forecasting across a large organization with many people involved. So at this juncture, organizations are ready to take the next step, and they realize that they must move to an enterprise solution that can keep up. And that will lead us to today's discussion, where we are going to look at one of the real-life scenarios that planners face, that being managing of planning hierarchies. It is often necessary to provide a perspective of what the organization will look like next month or next year. This requires updating information that describes the company's financial results. It may be adding new accounts to your financials. A company may decide they want to sell a new product line, or they may be adding new customers. Keep in mind, the planning process is forward-thinking, and you need to have the ability to look at what the organization may look like in the future. So, for our real-life scenario, the company we are looking at today is considering adding a new product category to its distribution starting in the new fiscal year. So what finance needs to do is update their Excel model to reflect this new product category, and also the products that roll up to that product category, so that planners can plan for that revenue. In this example in Excel, there are multiple tabs in Excel that will need to be updated to reflect this new product category. There will be input worksheets. There will be worksheets that represent reports. And then once they've completed those updates, they will then review and validate to make sure that the Excel model is accurate before it can be released to the planners. To take this a little bit further, let's just visually look at what your view looks like. We have existing product categories on the left-hand side, where we have smartphones, tablets, notebooks, and computer accessories rolling up to all the products that we sell today. And on the right-hand side, we have the new product category that will need to be added to our planning hierarchy. The new product category is called smartwatches, and there are 3 new products that we will be adding: smartwatch iOS, smartwatch Android, and smartwatch other. And with that, let's jump into our demo. Just give me a quick second here to transition over from the PowerPoint deck to the demo environment. All right, so now here we are in Excel, and what we're looking at is an input sheet that a planner would typically use to plan product revenue. For this example, we are looking at 2019 plan for sales US. Going down the row, we have the breakdown of the different products: smartphones, tablets, notebooks. That summarizes to all the total products. Going across the columns, we're planning by month, which gives us a total year view of what our product revenue plan will look like. The shaded regions represent inputs where users or planners can enter in their data. And then the unshaded regions include formulas that summarize the different rows or columns. We have formulas for subtotals, as well as formulas for the different products. At the bottom here, we also have a check because we want to make sure that our totals are footing properly. And again, this is a typical input sheet for a planner when planning revenue. You also may have different reports. What I've done here is I've just created 2 separate tabs that have product revenue for sales US, just broken down by month. It may be quarter, year, but the goal here is to show that if you are going to add a new product category, we would need to update multiple tabs in order to reflect that new product category. So here we have our product revenue, which is a formula that's tied to the previous worksheet. Our cost of sales, which may come from a different tab, or in this case, I'm just multiplying it by a percent, and that gets us to gross profit. So now that we see what we need to do here in Excel, one of the approaches that may be taken is I may go ahead and copy and insert cells to reflect my new product categories. So I'm going to be entering in my products, which are smartwatches. And one last one, we'll call it other. Right. And what I'll do is I'll actually clear out the region or the data where we would plan for smartwatches for 2019. Now that I've updated, let's just assume that smartwatches we won't be selling until April 2019. So I'll just enter in $1 million of smartwatches for April, $500,000 for Android, and maybe 50,000 for other. We'll assume that for now, this is just to keep things simple. It's a flat plan across the remaining months of the year. So what that'll do is that'll allow me now to input and plan for smartwatches. Planners may update these templates, leave them blank, and then send them out to the planners, who will then fill them out and then return them to the planner so that they can update them into their consolidated worksheets. I'm not going to go ahead and update the tabs that have the reports, but as you can tell, I'd have to go ahead and update this report to reflect my new smartwatches, as well as the February report, so on and so forth. You get the idea. Right, so now that we've set the stage and shown you what needs to happen in Excel, let's go ahead and look at the Oracle EPM Cloud. I'm already logged in here This is the common look and feel of Oracle EPM Cloud. Again, this interface is configurable and can be specialized for, that's based on a specific user. It can be role-based. What I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to go up here into my navigator, click on these three little lines, and this navigator gives you access to all the features and functionality within the Planning and Budgeting Cloud. Well, my focus right now is going to be on updating our dimensions, because this is where we go ahead and add our new product category and products. I'm going to go ahead and select the product dimension. This is the dimension where we store all of our products, product categories in the hierarchies. And I'll expand total products and drill into all product. And you'll see there's my smartphones, tablets, notebooks. I'm going to enter in smartwatches, or a new parent just below smartphone. So I go ahead and type in smartwatches and hit save. And then I'm going to add 3 children underneath that, one being the smartwatches iOS, the Android, and the other smartwatch. Now you're probably thinking to yourself that this is all great if we're just adding 3 products, and that's accurate. However, if you have multiple products that you need to add, there are more efficient ways of doing this. One of them is, if you have a source system where those products exist, we can create an interface that will dynamically build these dimensions so that you do not have to manually add these products to the Oracle EPM Cloud. Many companies have that feature functionality, and that would streamline this process. Now, what you see here is what I'm doing is refreshing what we call the database. This is updating all of the artifacts where product is impacted. This includes the forms, reports, any business rules that maybe we created. We need to make sure that those artifacts are reflected. This is allowing us to do that one version of the truth, to create that single point of maintenance where we change it in one place and it gets propagated out to the entire application. So that took about 55 seconds. The refresh is complete. And now what I can do is I can actually go and look at my forms to show you exactly how the products got updated on the form without having to touch it. What I did do is I brought those. You have 2 choices in the EPM Cloud. You can look at forms in Excel or in the browser. So this particular form that I've set up looks very similar to the one that we were working with, where we manually went and input or added the product categories. What I did here was I retrieved that data here so that you could see that the smartwatches were not necessarily added or haven't been added yet. You can also view this form in the browser, and the browser again allows you to view the form and access it and interact with it. And in this version of the form, you'll see that my smartwatches were already added. So that's the beauty of the tool. Once you've added those members to the dimension, the new product categories, they are automatically added to the form. From here, I can go ahead and plan them. So I didn't have to do any copying and pasting. I didn't have to do it in multiple places. I did it in one place, and it's available throughout the application. So let's go ahead and add my numbers here. Okay. And I can go ahead and save my data. And you'll notice that my data, similar to Excel, has been updated. Okay. I can also do this here in the form in Excel. And this is the whole idea of this one version of the truth here. If I go in and select my Smart View panel, and I go to my library, and here's that same form that I just opened up. And you'll notice that the form is now available here in Excel as well. So again, as balance of using the browser versus Excel. You'll also see that there's my data that I just entered into the form through the browser. I can also go ahead and add my remaining dollars and submit that data. And you'll notice that my numbers have been submitted to the application. I just want to make a quick point here because I did do something here on purpose here. I see here that my product revenue for the total year is $665 million. If I look here, I see it's only $651 million, but looks like my check is correct. So this is a common challenge that you face when using an Excel-based solution where you're dependent on formulas. If I look here, I see that my sum for the total worksheet is summing all of the products going across the roll. And then my sum for each month is summing the subtotals. So you notice that there's an oversight here. When I inserted my smartwatches, I didn't update this formula to reflect that new subtotal. So again, this is a simple oversight here, but this is, again, one of the challenges of working with exclusively a Excel-based solution. These are things you don't have to worry about when you're using a tool like the Oracle EPM Cloud for planning and budgeting. And one other thing I will show you here is from a reporting perspective, we have reports that will also get dynamically updated. So I go ahead and click on my product revenue report and click continue. And you'll notice that my product revenue report will also get automatically updated to not only show the new smartwatches, but also it immediately updates to show the plan that I entered in into the FY 2019 plan. Right? This is a completely interactive report. It can be, I'm looking at it in what we call HTML view, which allows me to drill in to the report. Like it starts out as quarters, I can drill in and show the month. I can actually do that drilling here as well. If I wanted to, I could have set up the report so that it only showed product categories and I can drill into the products. So it's getting completely flexible. You also have the ability to publish it as a PDF, or you can download it and bring it into Excel as well. So again, many different options here when it comes to the reporting thing. So the last thing I'm going to show you is, I'm just going to go back here to my dimensions. And one of the other strengths of this tool is its ability to support what we call alternate hierarchies. So right now my products are broken out by product category, but maybe I want to break out my products by brand. What I have the ability to do here, and I'm just going to do one for now, is I can go ahead and add a child and call it Smartwatches iOS. And we'll call this a shared member. Actually, we've got a couple minutes. I'm going to add the rest. Okay, there's my Android. And then finally, oh, I got to hit shared. And then one last guy, we'll just add the smartwatches, other, shared member, save. And then I go ahead and refresh my database. Okay. Now, and it will go through and refresh the database as well, or again, to propagate out what we're calling this alternate hierarchy. So this is again a different perspective of how to roll up your products. The primary hierarchy is rolling it up by product category. In this particular case, we're rolling it up by brand. You could roll it up by, in the case of products,
by size, by color. Entity dimension is a very good example as well. You might want to roll up your entities by how you look at it from an operational perspective. But then another relevant roll up could be geography or location. So you have complete flexibility over how you aggregate and roll up your data and provide for the different perspectives. Right, so that's complete. So now let's go ahead and look at my last form here. So again, it's the exact same form except that I am now rolling up my products by brand as opposed to product category. So you have this complete flexibility here to, again, if you have planners that have a preference when it comes to how they group or roll up their products, or any members from a dimension for that matter, you have the flexibility to do that as well. And again, as you notice, my data is following it, okay, because these are the same intersections. You're seeing the data in real time, and it provides you with, again, that true one version of the truth when it comes to doing your planning. All right, that's it for the demo.
RJ, I just had a quick question. If you, I know you touched on it briefly, but would you be able to just quickly walk through some of the other ways in which you can add that new metadata? So you mentioned, you're demonstrating a very manual process of adding new members, but if you did have hundreds or even thousands of new products, for example, in addition to the manual entry within the web, what are some of the other methods that would be used?
Great question. Yeah. So one method, which I was describing earlier, is the integrated approach, where we can connect to a source system directly or through a flat file and dynamically build that dimension. But if you don't have that luxury and you do have many different members that you need to add, another feature that's available is here within Excel. You have the ability to manage your dimensions within Excel. So what I can do here is I'm looking at my product dimension, and what I can do is I can use the Smart View capability to drill in to my product dimension, and you'll see here are my smartwatches. So maybe I decide I want to add an additional smartwatch to my hierarchy. So rather than go ahead and go into the browser and do it, I can go in here and call it smartwatches new. All right, and then I go ahead and I click my submit button. All right, so now I've just gone ahead and added this new member. All right, so if I go here, you'll see that the new smartwatch got added to the form. All right, now just a little caveat here, and again, this is just the way the process in which the application works. The updates that I make here in Excel are immediately available here on the front end, but I still can't input data yet until I actually refresh that database. So I have to go ahead and do that first before I can actually plan against this. So this is really a two-step process. But the efficiency here is, I mean, I can basically go in and copy and paste a bunch of new members. Like if I wanted to do this and just go 1, let's do it this way, 2, 3, 4, and then hit my submit button. All right, now I just went and added 4 new members rather quickly. Every time I go ahead and make that update, you'll see those new watches appear. So this is a more efficient approach. If you have many members that you need to add and you don't want to use the dimension editor, the dimension editor is useful if you need to make a couple of updates, but if you have to do these bulk updates, it's better if you use the dimension update capabilities here within SmartView. So hopefully that answers that question.
Great, yes, thank you, RJ. All right, so it doesn't look like we have any additional questions, so we can wrap things up here. Thank you again, everyone, for joining. Just a reminder, our next session is going to be next Friday, May 22nd. It will be a 30-minute session, and it's going to be about managing planning versions, so more of that functionality within the planning cycle. So again, thank you, everybody, for joining, and we will be sending out the recording of this session on Monday. Hope to see everybody next week. Thank you.